my name is Hydo and welcome to the Pantheon, where today we're in the cold and frigid world of Kaldheim. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's basically there's been a little infestation that's oh my god, it's the squirrels, they've got in. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, is a 4-mana 1/1 that can't be countered. Quite cool. It's indestructible, and it attacks each combat if able. Okay. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. A draw engine in green. Who would have thought green could draw cards? Well, everyone, really. But Toski is really, really cool. Really, we want to play like a token sort of deck, you know, get a wide board state, swing in, and draw a bunch of cards. But thanks to the indestructible and a couple of other things, there are some really nice things that we can do with Toski. So, without further ado, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making lots more videos like this where I look at different commanders. Eventually, I want to get through every single commander ever printed and do a video on every single one. But we're years away from that. Without further ado, let's have a look at the top 5. So, in at number 5, we have Deep Forest Hermit and a couple of squirrel-centered cards. 5 mana for a 1/1 with Vanishing 3, which means it enters with 3 time counts on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove the time counts from it. When the last is removed, sacrifice it. When it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. And squirrels you control get +1/+1. So not only is this buffing our commander, but it's giving us a massively wide board state. And all of our squirrels are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Really, really powerful effect, and exactly what the deck wants to do. The Ranged Hermit is the card that this is originally based on. 5 mana for a 1/1 with Echo, which means at the beginning of your upkeep, if they came under your control, at the beginning of your last upkeep, before the beginning of your last upkeep, since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost, so you have to pay 5 again. And when it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. And then squirrels get +1/+1 until end of turn. So, in Black Border, there aren't too many squirrels, to be honest. And these are pretty much it. So, Acorn Harvest is a 4-mana sorcery. Create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Flashback, pay 2 and 3 life. Do the same. So, for 6 mana, you get 4 tokens. This is a nice little card. You know, the flashback is where it's really at. But we get a nice wide board state and we can slam in to draw some cards. Then Swarmyard is a really cool land that's just been reprinted. You can tap it for a colorless, and you can tap it to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Now, our main squirrel is indestructible, but there are a couple of ways that our opponents could remove that indestructibility. So this is nice just to have in there, and it says squirrel on it, so it's just cool all around. Which brings me on to number 4 and some more general cards. Kamal's Will is a wonderful card. 4 mana for an instant. Choose one if you control your commander as you cast a spell. You may choose both. Now, thanks to the indestructibility of our commander, we should hopefully have our commander on the field the majority of the time. So we're going to get both of these effects. So, until end of turn, any number of target lands you control become 1/1 elemental creatures with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. And choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to that creature. So, nice bit of mono green removal. And also, if we've got a large board of lands, which we're in mono green, all of the ramp that we're going to be playing will get lands onto the battlefield. This should hopefully allow us to smash in with all of our lands. And the cool thing is they gain vigilance. So, we pay 4 mana. We slam in with all of our lands, but then we've also got the mana to cast another spell with. Really, really nice. To go along with this, a couple of other token creators that can really help power out of a lot of draw with Toski. Beacon of Creation, 4 mana for sorcery. Put a 1/1 green insect creature token onto the battlefield for each forest you control. Shuffle Beacon of Creation into its owner's library. So this, again, they're insect tokens. They work with Swarmyard. Whew, wow. And we can reuse it over and over. So the same thing goes. We're going to have a lot of lands, and this just works really well with them. Hornet Queen, another insect for Swarmyard. 7 mana for a 2/2 with Flying and Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. So thanks to the death touch, our opponents won't really want to block our creatures, as you know, a 1/1 death touch will take down their massive flying dragon. But that means if they don't block it, we're going to be getting in for lots of damage and also drawing a bunch of cards with Toski. Then Avenger's Zendikar, a classic, 7 mana for a 5/5. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land you control. On landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant creature you control. All of these cards work very well with lands because you need a lot of lands to cast them. And Avenger's Zendikar especially, you want to get as many tokens as possible. Really, really cool cards. Which brings me on to Freyalise, Lanawar's Fury. 5 mana for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. +2, create a 1/1 green Elf Druid creature token with tap. Add a green mana to your mana pool. So, nice bit of ramp and also a token that we could attack in with. -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Nice bit of removal, always good. And then -6, draw a card for each green creature you control. As we're going so wide with all of our tokens, we're going to want to draw a ton of cards, and we will do. And the majority of the tokens are green, which works excellently for us. Hunting Wilds is a really nice ramp spell that works very well with the fact that we want to be attacking in with creatures. 4 mana for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 forest cards, then put them onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. But it has a kicker cost of 4, so if you pay 8 mana, if the spell was kicked, untap all forests put into the battlefield this way. They become 3/3 green creatures with haste that are still lands. So for 8 mana, we get 2 attackers that we can get in, and if Toski's on the field, potentially draw some cards with him, which just works really nicely and gives us some nice hasty threats, which might be a theme of the deck. Finally, Thopter Assembly does not create green tokens, but it can repeatedly put tokens onto the field. 6 mana for a Thopter with flying, that's a 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, return Thopter Assembly to its owner's hand and create 5 1/1 color Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. So again, nice bit of evasion, going to get us a bunch of cards, and then once somebody wipes the board, we've got it in our hand, we can redeploy it, get another wave of threats back on the field. Bringing us on to number 3. And at number 3, we've got a couple of hasty threats. So Uktabi Drake is a 1 mana 2/1 with flying and haste. Now, this is not the sort of card I'd ever want to play in Commander because 1 mana 2/1 flying haste, I mean, what does that even do? And it's even got Echo, which means, you know, at the beginning of your next upkeep, you have to pay 3 mana to keep it around. But with Toski, for 1 green mana, fly in, deal damage to an opponent, we're going to be drawing a card. So it's 1 mana, draw a card. And that, in my opinion, is totally fine. I'm more than willing to pay that. And you get to look at this hideous art. Look at how horrible that looks. Really, really cool include, and haste is a big theme here. Groundbreaker, triple green for a 6/1 with trample and haste. At the end of your turn, sacrifice Groundbreaker. So 3 mana, we're going to get in some damage with the trample. We're going to draw a card with Toski. So it replaces itself. It's really cool that we have these sort of cards in the deck. Questing Beast. Now this is a bit of a better card in general. 4 mana for a 4/4 with Vigilance, Death Touch and Haste. It can't be blocked by creature with power 2 or less. So if you're against a token deck, your opponent just won't be able to block it outright. And combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control can't be prevented. Dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. So that's really nice if someone plays a fog or something like that. And whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. Really, really nice. It deals with lots of things. It gets in straight away thanks to the haste. And the Death Touch means that people just won't want to block it. Then Strangleroot Geist, 2 green mana for a 2/1 with haste, and it's got Undying. So a very low barrier of entry. We can just play this, keep getting in. If there's a board wipe, we've still got a dude that can get in over and over. Then a slightly different take on this. Rocks is a 6 mana 5/5. It doesn't have haste, but you may have Rocks deal its combat damage to defending player as though it weren't blocked. And we can pay 3 to regenerate it. And that's the theme of this section. We want to swing in, but these creatures, it doesn't matter if our opponent blocks, because obviously things are going to get in the way. These just deal the damage straight to our opponent, and we can get lethal with that. Siege Behemoth, 7 mana for a 7/4 with hexproof. As long as Siege Behemoth is attacking, for each creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So again, we get through with all of our tokens, even if they're blocked. Yes, we'll lose the tokens if they're blocked by a big creature, but we're going to draw so many cards, it's just absolutely wonderful. And then we've got Predatory Focus. 5 mana for a sorcery. You may have creatures you control deal combat damage to defending player this turn as though they weren't blocked. So yes, 5 mana is a big investment, but if we've got a wide board, we can draw so many cards off this, and it's a great use of an uncommon that I don't really think I'd see much play anywhere else. Which brings me on to number 2. And in at number 2, we have Gemraiser. And this section is all about pumping up our commander, you know, getting Toski big, because it's going to be swinging in every turn. And yes, our opponents probably won't be able to kill it, but we want to kill our opponents. So Gemraiser is a great card to target Toski with. 4 mana for a 4/4 that's with reach and trample. And it has mutate, which means you can sort of graft it onto another creature. And because Toski's got indestructible, it's going to be very hard for our opponents to remove that grafted mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. So we're getting removal out of it. We're slowing our opponents down. We're slamming in with now a 4/4 commander that's got trample. It's going to get through. It's going to draw us cards, and it's going to give our opponents some commander damage. Primal Bellow is a 1 mana instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each forest you control. So if Toski isn't blocked, this is a nice little surprise. Just pew! And then our opponents are taking 9 odd commander damage. Really good. Blanchwood Armor, a bit more of a visible version of this, as it's an enchantment you have to pay it before combat. 3 mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. So obviously we're mono green, we're going to have a lot of forests, and we can get in for tons of damage. Finally, Sawtusk Demolisher, 6 mana for a 6/6 with mutate for 4 mana. Trample, so it's going to give our commander trample, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy target non-creature permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast token. Removes absolutely anything apart from creatures. And we can smash in for 6 with our commander with this. And it's going to be an indestructible trampler. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Storm the Citadel is going to work very well with all of our tokens. 5 mana for a sorcery. Until end of turn, creature you control get +2/+2 and gain. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. People lean very heavily into artifacts and enchantments for their ramp, for just general effects, and this can blow them out of the water completely and just strip their board state bare. And it's a nice +2/+2 on all of our tokens, which is really good. Then Fire Shrieker and Grappling Hook, very similar cards, equipments that grant double strike. Double strike means that we'll be drawing 2 cards with Toski, or any creature that we put it on with Toski on the field. And we can just end up killing one of our opponents. If we've buffed up Toski enough, we can just one-shot them with, two-shot them with first strike damage and then the regular combat damage. Grappling Hook is slightly different. 4 mana for a equip 4. Crit creature has double strike. And whenever a crit creature attacks, you may have target creature block it this turn if able. So if Toski's big enough, this is just creature removal every time Toski swings in. Really, really cool. And then if our opponents don't have any creatures, it's player removal, which I like. Brings me on to number 1. And in at number 1, we have Berserk. And now these are all cards that play around with our commander's indestructibility. 1 mana for an instant. You cast Berserk only before combat damage step. Target creature gains trample and gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is its power. At the beginning of the next end step, you don't sacrifice the creature, you destroy that creature if it attacked this turn. So, Berserk on our commander, it'll try to destroy Toski, but it can't. Really, really nice. But if our opponents have, say, an Elish Norn, and they're swinging in, chipping in for 4 damage, you can make it 8 damage, but then the Elish Norn will be destroyed at end of turn. So Berserk is removal as well. Brilliant card. Giving trample is great, and +X/+O. This is going to deal some lethal damage to someone. Really, really good. World Slayer, a card I love. 5 mana for an equipment. Whenever a quick creature deals combat damage to a player, destroy all permanents other than World Slayer. So that includes lands, enchantments, artifacts, creatures. Toski is indestructible. So if we get this on Toski, Toski swings in, deals some damage. Well, the entire board's going to be wiped. There's just going to be a World Slayer and a Toski. So you can do it every single turn. This is a really cool win condition. People will be quite unhappy about the whole thing, but to hell with them. You've won then. You've got a 1-1 that's going to chip in for commander damage. I don't see how you can be angry at that. I mean, at that point, the game is over. Nevinyrral's Disc is a 4-mana artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay 1 and tap it. Destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So obviously, we're going to keep our commanders. It's indestructible. But if we have some way of giving all of our artifacts indestructible, we also keep the Nevinyrral's Disc. What is it? It's a 9-mana artifact that makes all artifacts indestructible. This could go into the deck, 9 mana, not too far out of reach. And then we can just Nevinyrral's Disc every single turn and then chip in with our commander. Dread Iron Sledge is a 1-mana equipment, equip cost of 2. Whenever a quick creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature and equip creature. Obviously, Toski is going to be attacking every turn because it has to. And if it's blocked, it's going to kill that creature and try to kill itself. But it can't because this is a destroy clause. And that's what all of these cards play around with. Captain's Hook, 3 mana for an equipment. Quick creature gets +2/+0 and has Menace. And it's a pirate, so we're going to have a pirate Squirrel 3/1 with Menace. So it's going to be flying in. And whenever it becomes unattached from a permanent, destroy that permanent. So if we put it on a commander, but then we decide, oh, we want to get in with some other big threat, it doesn't really matter as Toski can't be destroyed by it. Really, really nice. And a good way of getting a squirrel with a hook. Hot Soup, delicious, is 1 mana for an artifact equipment. A quick creature can't be blocked. So even if we have this on Toski, we can just keep chipping in, drawing at least 1 card every single turn. Whenever a quick creature is dealt damage, destroy it. There are a lot of board wipes that work in damage, and obviously our commander is indestructible, but damage is still dealt to it. He'll try to destroy it, but it doesn't matter, and we can keep getting through using the Hot Soup. Finally, Transmogrifying Wand is a 3-mana artifact. Comes in the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. Can pay 1, tap it, remove a charge counter. Destroy target creature. Its controller creates a 2/4 white ox creature token. Activate this ability only time you could use a sorcery. So this can be used on our opponent's creatures to, swap out the massive threat for an ox. Or we can use it on our commander to keep generating a board state, at least for 3. We can get at least 3 oxes, the holy trinity of ox-based damage. We can have a couple of 2/4s, and we keep the Toski because Toski's indestructible. And those are my top 5 cards for Toski. A really cool squirrel commander. And, it's a slightly different direction for mono green. And drawing cards, it's always good. It's always going to feel fantastic. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please subscribe, like, and comment. It makes me go all smiley and I feel warm inside. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.